Flack math! Give me some math and I'll give you some flack. Flack math!
Okay, we're doing representing solids, orthographic views. All right, you guys ready to stop talking about Red Rocks?
Actually, we're talking about science.
At Red Rocks?
No, we're just talking about science in general.
Okay.
That we don't want to.
Yeah, science is dumb.
Wait, can you teach me not science but still science?
I'm taking physics.
What?
Do you have a math class above algebra 2 here?
I do now.
What is it?
Next year, it's going to be financial math.
Financial math?
That's good. I'm proud.
Is that like,
that'll count?
does that
Yep.
count as the
It counts
college
as a-
algebra
yep.
credit that? Okay.
It counts as it's an above average. It's an above algebra credit. So
So should we take that or should we take algebra?
I'll take Spanish to my senior.
no, you have to do algebra 2 as well. You have to do both, right?
You have to take
No, we
both.
only need 3 credits.
No, you need 4.
Now I need 4.
Science is 3.
But you could do concurrent. This is only for people who don't want to do concurrent enrollment, because concurrent is awesome because you get college credit as well. But if it doesn't work,
Financial math?
I looked at it's just real life. It's math you're going to use, you know. But if you do college algebra like at Red Rocks, I'll tell you what teacher not to take. But then you'll get college credit and high school credit. So it's kind of a cool deal. But if you're stuck having to do it here, the financial math will be fine. I'm not trying to talk you out of it, but I don't want you to lose out on college credit if you want it. Okay. Orthographic drawing is a drawing that shows 3-dimensional object in which the line of sight for each view is perpendicular to the plane of the picture. Okay, so this is kind of like what we do a lot, but typically the orthographic drawing has 3 views: the front, top, and side. Okay, to draw an orthographic view of a solid image, you are looking straight at one on its faces and can see nothing else but the flat surfaces facing you. Yes,
Are you teaching this financial math?
I am.
Really?
Wait, what?
Wait, let me see.
What period is it?
Fourth period. Yeah, fourth period.
I will be. I have to take.
Okay, so here's the deal, guys. This is let's just start with an example. You're going to get something that looks like this. I just don't like drawing them like this, but all right. So this is what they look like, and they want you to draw the front, the top, and what else? The front, top, and side. Okay. So what's the front look like? This is the front. So what's the front look like? Well, it's just this thing, right? Make sense? What's the top look like?
An L.
Yeah, so it kind of looks like this. So if I drew it, it would look like this. Right? Does that make sense? Looking down from the top. And then the side might be a little tricky. You're looking at it right here. It's the same kind of L, but it looks like this. Okay? So far, so good? This is a pretty easy assignment. You just have to draw what you are envisioning 3-dimensionally. Okay, now let's go the other way. Let's try to draw something just given the views. Okay, here's the front. Looks like this. The side looks like this. And the top looks like this. Okay, so what the heck does that look like? Well, it's going to give you multiple choice. All right, so here's A, looks like this. There's A. Here's B. I should just show you do screen sharing here, but I'm already committed. There's B, and then C is something else. What is it, A or B? It's like B to me, right? So this looks like just one line at the top. This one is like an upside down T, and then C looks just like this, except this part is over here. So obviously, you can tell by looking at each of these. Sometimes you need more than one. Sometimes you can just tell by looking at one that obviously it's B. Okay. So I'm not going to bother you anymore with that. Let's move on to lesson 94.
May I please go blow my nose?
Yes.
No, thank you.
Do you want to help?
Sometimes if one person holds one nostril, it's just easier. Then you can just just go.
I lost like all my mental will for this class. I was so dedicated. I took notes and it's just all gone.
Well,
For that, I
Oh my gosh.
apologize.
you worked
We have
hard.
3.5 weeks left of school. 3.5 weeks.
Oh, I have a question. To use my free problem sets, can I just not do anything and just let them be? And will they like input that?
We end on a Thursday, right? We
Yeah.
end on a Thursday.
Well,
right?
do you want me to just fill it out?
Do we
Yeah.
end on a
Just
Tuesday?
send me a message to remind
No
me.
sense.
And I'll be like, hey, my last like 8 problem sets are free.
Yeah.
Well, 6, and then it'll take off the 2 lowest grades.
Wait, there's
Yeah.
8 days left.
Okay, guys.
We have less.
Here's the deal. Now, remember the Pythagorean theorem? Like you can figure out the third side of a right triangle if you know the two sides using the Pythagorean theorem. And then we decided, well, now using trigonometry like sine and cosine and tangent, we could figure out like all the sides and angles if we're just given one side and one angle, right, of a right triangle. Now, trigonometry has not let us down. Now we can do that with non-right triangles. What? I thought it was only right triangles. No, it's not. Here's the deal. Here's the law of sines. If given any triangle that looks like this is not a right, well, it kind of looks like a right triangle. Let me draw one that's obviously not a right triangle. Okay, here's a non-right triangle, right? There's no right angle in there. So if I label this A, B, and C, then I'm going to use lowercase letters to do the sides opposite those angles. So little a would be opposite of angle A right there. Little b would be opposite of angle B. And little c would be opposite of angle C. Does that make sense? Right? Hey, are you even going to ask me if you can leave?
I thought I could just, I never asked. I was just
I'm
going
pretty
to the
sure
bathroom.
you said at the beginning of the year, just go.
Yeah.
No, I
Because it
didn't.
makes you uncomfy if
Yeah,
you
you
ask.
did.
Yeah. To like pee. So you're
Yeah.
like, just go.
Oh,
I
you're
don't
right.
know. Yeah.
Yeah, can I, you just say, can I be
Can I go
excused?
to the bathroom, please?
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to like,
Can I go poop?
can I go take a dump? Yeah, don't do that, but at least,
Ew.
ew!
That's
What, you don't poop?
Ew, I don't want to have this conversation. I'm not around me.
Hey, internet. Kate doesn't poop.
Ew, please, no, God, no. That's kind of disgusting.
Sorry. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I forgot you had a YouTube channel.
There is a 1% of all humans do not poop.
That's dead people.
It's not true. Yeah, most people are dead. They have literally exploded. Okay, in any triangle ABC, here's the deal. A over sine of A equals B over sine of B, which is easy to remember. C over sine of C. So if you're given one or two of these angles or whatever, you can use the fish method to figure out the rest. So if you're given like side A and sine and angle A, well, if you're given the angle A, you can find the sine of A on your calculator, right? Okay, so let's try an example. Here's an example 1. Here's a triangle. We're going to call this 20. Let's just call this X, triangle XYZ. And then this is 35 and 38, I think, 35 degrees, 38 degrees. If you wanted to, you could figure out that third angle. What's that third angle going to be?
36.
73, 107 degrees. Is that right? 107 degrees if you want it, but you don't really need it, okay? So I'm going to cross it out. So now we're going to apply this law of sines. So this 20 goes with, well, I guess we do need it. So that's 107 degrees. So 20 goes over sine of 107. Okay? So far, so good? So you can put the side over the sine of its opposite angle. Now, it doesn't give us these sides, so I'm going to say little x, little y. So x over 35, sine of 35, and then y over sine of 38. So now see how we can use the fish method to figure out what x is. Because you know how to find the sine of 35, right? On your calculator. Sine of 35 times 20 divided by sine of 107 gives you what x is. So fish that out and you get, what do you get? You get, so I guess they're finding y apparently. Or basically xz. No, that's right. So x equals, little x equals approximately 12.88. Okay? So do you see how that law of sines works? It allows you to plug in what you know and then fish method your way home.
Did we do this in algebra 2?
Last year we did. Were you in algebra 2 last year?
Yep.
Yes, because last year is when the first year we did the new curriculum.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, we use the law of sines and law of cosines. Law of cosines is a little bit more complicated, but this is easy to remember, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just the side over the opposite of the sine of its, over the opposite angle, the sine of the opposite angle, the side equals the side over the sine of the opposite angle. Easy to remember, okay? But you don't have to remember it because you're not being tested on it. But if you were, I would probably let you use that formula. So, yeah. Okay, so find the missing angle with the law of sines. You could do the same thing, but then you have to kind of do the inverse sine function to figure it out. Let me just show you an example. Here's example 2. Here's a triangle. Okay, and then this is LMN. Here's 12. Here's 75 degrees here. And then here's 14. And that's all it gives you. So remember, in the past, we couldn't figure this out because it wouldn't be a right triangle. And you couldn't use the Pythagorean theorem. But you can use the law of sines. So let's figure out what that is. Let's see. So 12 goes over the sine of n, right? Okay. 14 goes over the sine of 75. Okay. And then we've got this other thing that we don't really know, but we don't need it because look, we've got 3 out of the 4 constants. We can fish method this. And then that would not give us n, but that would give us the sine of n. Okay, that's very important to realize because if we want to look for that angle, then we have to first find the sine of that angle and then inverse sine it to find that n. So let's just do that. So far, if we do the fish method, we'll end up with, what do we end up with? Well, they don't even do the math. They basically, let's just, if you multiply 12 times the sine of 75 divided by 14, you get a number, and then you inverse sine it. So n is going to be the inverse sine of this fish method, 12 times sine of 75 divided by 14. Okay? I wish they would have gotten a number, but you don't need to. And really, on a calculator, you want to try to avoid rounding as much as possible. So keep everything using parentheses on your calculator and things like that. Keep everything true until the very end, and then you can round it if you need to. So this is approximately 56 degrees. All right, so if I did this on my calculator, I would probably do this, okay? On my iPhone calculator, I would do this. I would go, all right, sine of 75. So 75 sine, okay, 0.96 something, times 12, right? Times 12 equals blah, divided by 14 equals blah. And I have 0.8279-ish, all right? But that's what the sine of n is. Sine of n equals 0.8279-ish. So how do you get n by itself? You do the inverse sine. So I'm going to hit second sine 55.88. So to the nearest degree is 56 degrees. Okay? So that's the deal on that.